Every once in a while, somebody will say to me, I think mostly in jest, "Oh, poor father, he's given up so much." And I have never really, in all these years, felt that way. I live a very cushy life. You people are way beyond good to me. I live in a huge, beautiful home, the likes of which I have never lived in before and surely will never live in again once I'm retired. If someone were to come to my door and be very needy and ask for me to write out a check, I could do that in a minute and wake up tomorrow and not live any differently. I know that I'm not married and don't have kids and grandkids, but I have lots of friends, and I certainly have never encountered loneliness on the journey. So I've never really felt like priesthood involves a lot of sacrifice. And because I'm ordained, I can use that as a way to live out the gospel this morning, because it doesn't quite equate. Now, maybe I'm not living the call fully enough. Maybe I need to be writing out more checks, or maybe I need to move into a tent or work in the missions or something. But when I read the gospel a little more carefully, I think that Jesus is using hyperbole to get his message across. I don't think he's really talking about family or finances or building towers or winning battles. I think he's talking about the sacrifice that you and I need to make to be disciples of Jesus Christ, that says, what I leave behind is my own sense of importance. That's what disciples sacrifice. I am not the center of the universe. Jesus is. And my life revolves around him. It does not revolve around my opinions and my attitudes and my needs and my wants. What I leave behind is the same thing that we all leave behind if we take discipleship seriously. And what I embrace is seeing one another, everyone on this planet, as equals. No one is more important than anyone else, and treating others as such, seeing everyone as my sister and brother, and beholding them in that way, and responding to them in kind. As I speak, Mother Teresa is being canonized a saint, and her gift to our world was a dramatic reminder that the poorest of the poor are my brothers and sisters, and therefore need to be treated as important as people who deserve great respect, and to do that joyfully. She once said, "Joy is the net of love that catches souls." We serve one another never begrudgingly, never out of a sense of obligation, but we do it joyfully. 2 weeks ago, two sisters from the Layton Boulevard Franciscan community in Milwaukee were murdered in Mississippi. And around that same time, Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback from San Francisco 49ers, refused to stand during the national anthem at the Packers San Francisco game. Now, both the sisters and Colin were highlighting the same reality, that there is great injustice in our world and in our nation. Granted, they did it in different ways. The sisters did it through service. He did it through protest. But they were highlighting the same reality, that we don't treat one another as brothers and sisters. We don't treat one another as though everyone is of equal importance. Our educational system in poor neighborhoods is in no way comparable to our educational system in the suburbs. There is a radical difference. The same people who work for the same company do not all make an equal wage. Some are paid exorbitant wages, some are paid very little, but they work for the same company. There is such disparity in our wage allotment. And it's often those who make the most that fight the strongest to keep those who make the least making the least. They don't want their wages to rise. We are not equally welcoming to the people who move into the house next door. We look at them through our window and make all kinds of snap judgments depending upon their religion, their color, their nationality, maybe even whether they have tattoos or not. Who knows? But we make all kinds of judgments. It is very difficult for us to leave behind that sense that some are more important and are better than others. That's what we are called to leave behind. We are called as disciples to sacrifice an attitude that says, I think I'm more important than you are. I think I am more loved by God than you are. I think some are more valuable than others. I am the best. We are right. We are favored. We need to worry about ourselves first, and then the rest, maybe. That's the attitude we leave behind when we say yes to Jesus Christ. We will become the object of ridicule by family, friends, and many others. Saint Teresa of Calcutta reminds us just how that is lived out. Almost every picture of her holding an impoverished, dying person in her arms, giving that person great dignity, seeing that person as equally important as any king or queen. And this is her prayer. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have. It may never be enough, but give the world the best you've got anyway. Because you see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway.